Hola, mis amigos, and welcome to the skin.
Did you know that the skin is the largest organ of the body, accounting to 22 square feet?
It weighs 6 to 9 pounds, and 1 inch of skin costs $10.
The skin acts as a protective layer as well as the first barrier against infection, so it's the body's front line of defense as it protects the other organs.
Believe it or not, the skin has a lot more jobs than just that. It also prevents loss of moisture, reduces harmful UV rays, regulates the body's temperature, sends sensory info to the brain, and produces vitamin D.
There are 3 layers that make up the skin.
The epidermis, the dermis, and the hypodermis are also known as the subcutaneous tissue or the fat layer.
The epidermis has keratinocytes, corneocytes, and melanocytes. The keratinocytes are the cells that die and then are flattened. The corneocytes, which are the dead and flattened keratinocytes, are cells that make up the starchy cornum. The melanocytes produce melanin, which give skin color and protect the skin from UV rays.
The second layer, or the dermis, contains hair follicles, sweat glands, and sebaceous glands.
A hair follicle is where hair grows from. You need hair to regulate our body temperature so we don't get too hot or cold. Sweat glands make sweat that travel through sweat ducts to pores in the epidermis. And the sebaceous glands produce an oil that keeps hair free of dust and bacteria called sebum.
The hypodermis, or the sebaceous layer, is made up of tissue and fat and acts as an insulator.
One of these diseases is skin cancer. The 3 major types of skin cancer are basal cell carcinoma, squamous cell carcinoma, and melanoma.
Basal cell carcinoma is caused when the basal cell's DNA mutates, which is usually caused by long-term UV radiation exposure. The basal cell would normally make new basal cells and push the old cells up to the skin surface where they die and shed, but the mutation tells the basal cell to multiply when it would normally die, and this causes a tumor.
Squamous cell carcinoma is a type of skin cancer caused when a squamous cell has mutation in its DNA. This mutation is commonly caused by UV radiation. The mutation causes a rapid growth of squamous cells, and instead of dying like normal, they live on.
Melanoma is the most serious form of skin cancer. There is no direct cause of melanoma, but UV radiation has been known to increase your chances of getting melanoma. The pigment that melanoma creates can be found on your eye and sometimes inside your body.
Burns can be caused by almost anything hot, like fire, liquid, steam, and other objects, but it can also be caused by UV radiation and chemicals.
There are 4 main different levels of burns: first-degree burns, second-degree burns, third-degree burns, and fourth-degree burns.
First-degree burns are very minor burns, and long-term effects are rare. The burn reaches the epidermis and causes some redness on your skin and pain. Second-degree burns affect the epidermis and a bit of the dermis. The skin will appear red and will most likely be swollen or even blistering. The burn is painful and could potentially cause scarring.
A third-degree burn is when the burn reaches the fat layer. It can destroy nerves, and it can even affect bones, muscles, and tendons sometimes. It can cause numbness, and the burnt spots appear white.
Fourth-degree burns are the most severe. It burns through all the layers of the skin and underlying tissue. It can affect bones, muscles, and tendons. Fourth-degree burns destroy the nerves, which causes the area of the burn to lose all feeling. Radiation burns. Radiation burns are usually caused by radiation therapy. The radiation passes through your skin to target cancer cells. It can cause peeling skin, itchy skin, swelling, blistering, open sores, and reddening of the skin.
UV radiation, and other heat sources aren't the only things that can negatively impact the skin. Genetics also plays a part in some diseases and disorders. One of these is a genetic disorder called albinism.
Albinism, or oculocutaneous albinism, is an inherited disorder, meaning it's genetic. It happens when your body has very little to no melanin.
Melanin determines the color of your skin, eyes, and hair. Melanin also helps with the growth and development of the optic nerves.
Because of the very low levels of melanin, people with albinism usually have pale skin, white hair, and light eyes. Without the melanin protecting the skin from UV radiation, it can cause people with albinism to be sensitive to the sun's effects.
It also makes them at risk for skin cancer. Problems with the vision are most likely to occur because of melanin's help with the growth of optic nerves. There is no cure for albinism.
We damage our skin a lot, whether it's by a disease caused by the sun, burning yourself, or falling and scraping your knee. Luckily, our skin has a pretty nice healing ability.
The skin starts to heal wounds by clotting the blood so that the wound does not cause any more loss of blood. The clots then dry and turn into scabs.
Once the wound is closed, the blood vessel opens up. This allows oxygen to heal the wound. The macrophages are a type of white blood cell that make the growth factor. The growth factor is a type of protein that repairs the wound.
Blood cells go to the wound to help build new tissue. The last thing the skin needs to heal is time for the tissue to get stronger.